Ever wanted to know how you relate to others based on astrology? Well, today we are going to talk all about synastry by looking at Mars through the houses. Now, in this video, we will cover synastry Mars in houses 1 through 6. And if you would like to see all 12 houses, that is available for our channel members below. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome back, Cosmic Warriors. Before we do dive into today's video, if you want to learn more about astrology, then head on over to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. And if you would like to book a synastry reading with myself, then go to hannahselsewhere.com. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's do this. Okay, so first and foremost here, there is the introduction video all about synastry below, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But the question is, what does Mars represent in our relationships? Mars points to drive, initiation, how we pursue in our relationships, the way we go after someone we are attracted to, how we express our anger and our frustrations within relationships, how we handle conflict and disagreement, our libido, and what motivates us within our relationships, what we think is sexy, what is hot, as well as our personal satisfaction and how we pursue our desires. Now, Mars can also naturally indicate rage, fighting, and unhealthy aggression. What we will do today is we will show how another person's Mars impacts you based on where their Mars falls in your chart, but also read for vice versa if you do wish to see how you just might show up in another person's chart. Plus, you got to think about the condition of Mars. You have to take the condition of Mars into consideration whenever you're exploring your chart versus the other person's chart. And when I do explain the disharmonious version of Mars, remember transits. And it is not about seeing the Mars person as bad or as you being the good person. There's a lot of nuance we got to take into consideration. Look at both people within the relationship dynamic. Also, follow the progressed Mars for more context and changes. Today, we will focus on love, friendship, and family. First up then, if someone's Mars falls in your first house, your romantic partner or spouse just might pursue you. When they lock their eyes on you, and if they like what they see, if they desire you, they will most likely make the move. This is possibly a strong physical attraction here, which will most likely grow stronger the closer their Mars is to the ascendant line in your chart, or if you have any significant planets in the first house, in your first house. Naturally, how they go about pursuing you does depend on the sign and other planets involved, but it is likely that you both experience a passionate desire leading to this heated and dynamic relationship. There is a whole lot of action and goal setting within your relationship, and your partner is well and truly turned on by you. Your partner might push or motivate you. They challenge your movement and your patience. Arguments and conflict are also likely to occur about matters related to your mannerisms, your actions, and your identity. But such disagreements may be coming from a good place. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, such arguments could go too far, where you feel like you need to defend yourself. If it gets to a point in your relationship where you're having more arguments than peace, you might need to re-examine the relationship. Likewise, if competition comes up in unhealthy ways, it could be suggested that you both need to re-evaluate the future of your relationship. Now, when we see this in a friendship, Mars here suggests that your friends tend to motivate and inspire you. They push you to achieve your goals and to stand by the things you choose to pursue. They might add an ambitious quality to your life, which then motivates you to take bold and daring risks. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, unhealthy aggression is likely. They might lash out at you or create unnecessary arguments. Of course, conflict might happen regardless when we look at Mars, which can also lead to a healthy repair, a resolution. But if in a really, really challenging spot here, it might feel like disagreements are more testing. Not to mention, they might try to compete with you over how you look or about your goals. It might feel like they can never be happy for you. Then in a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member has acted as a motivating and champion-like figure throughout your life. Almost like you have experienced them as a warrior, as someone full of strength and courage, a very courageous parent, a sibling who has overcome a lot. And so you might look up to this person or feel inspired by their bravery. Their bravery rubs off on you. They have taught you a great deal about independence and standing up for yourself. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, you might experience a ton of anger from said family member, or like they must always push you for no reason. It might feel like independence was forced onto you before you were ready, or like you need to manage their explosive episodes. Moving on to someone's Mars falling in your second house. Now, in a romantic relationship dynamic, your romantic partner or your spouse will be driven about resources, belongings, finances, time, and so on, as if they inspire you to work harder for your wealth, or like you must fight for the things you seek to gain so you can build for the future together as a team, as a couple. We see this ambitious energy surrounding what you co-create, your physical security. If you are both on the same page financially, then Mars can be great as this energy boost, right? For this good push for determination. The ways in which you experience this, of course, does depend on the sign and the other planets involved, but the drive and the passion are what support your chosen lifestyle. They might also encourage you when it comes to your skills, your gifts. They act like a champion in your life for these reasons, reminding you to be strong. They also bring this unwavering support for matters related to your self-esteem. They may be turned on by your sensuality. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, they might grow angry towards you about financial matters or issues or concerns, perhaps putting you down in the process, or like you must defend yourself against them. They might start arguments that trigger your self-worth, your self-esteem. Maybe they also become impatient with you and they don't respect your time. Arguments about your personal finances and assets are likely. Now, in a friendship, Mars here suggests that your friends are more than encouraging when it comes to your gifts, your talents, your skills. They want to see you succeed. They want you to win. They bring this fighting spirit, this passion to how you value yourself, as if they behave like a mighty warrior in your life. They even encourage your independence, and then you might very well see their successes as something that is inspirational. But of course, it's their encouragement that is about trying to get you to strive towards your own successes, or the way you might make money, your wealth. There is that champion-like spirit, that warrior-like spirit from them towards you. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, they might compete with you over finances. They might become angered by your material ambitions or by the success you experience financially. They might see you as a threat to their self-worth, or they might pursue the things you wish to pursue because they don't want you to have it. They want to be the first as you fall behind in their eyes. Now, in a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member teaches you a great deal about independent self-worth, about being your own person, about standing on your own 2 feet financially and materially. They also instill values of courage and bravery, being brave enough to stand up for yourself or to put yourself first in a situation. Instilling this independence, I suppose, as a value within your life. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, money and materials might be used against you. The moment that said family member is angered by something that you do or did, they take that item away. Or they act in super defensive ways, making you question your own worth. Their anger towards you tends to be about money and resources, which can make your relationship feel conditional, or like they only care about finances rather than the love they have for you. Moving on to someone's Mars falling in your 3rd house. Okay, so firstly, within this romantic relationship, spouse situation, well, your romantic partner or spouse tends to stimulate you mentally and intellectually, as if they keep your mind active as you search for answers to their many questions. They might go to you for advice, or they might offer you words of encouragement, motivation. When you speak, you want them to listen to your words, your views, your opinions. Then again, this is also where they can lack patience, right? That can occur, the lack of patience, depending on the situation. You might have to remind them to listen to you. Yes, this does depend on the sign and the other planets involved, but essentially communication is an area that might need to be catered towards. At the same time, healthy debates are likely, as well as the capacity to challenge one another's thoughts. The chats you have might be energetic and passionate, and you tend to bounce off one another as you engage in intellectual discussions. They are turned on by your mind, by your intellect. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, this is where we notice how words can have serious consequences if not careful. Words might be said in the heat of the moment. Arguments occur which could lead to rage, cruelty, contempt. Be careful about what you say, because before you know it, trust is eroded. Not to mention, impatience and a lack of listening can't be good for your relationship. Now, in a friendship situation, Mars in the 3rd house here suggests that your friends encourage you with their words. They champion you with such courage and strength and remind you of how strong you are. They bring plenty of heat and energy and passion to the conversations you share together. And you can be straightforward with one another as well. Your friend can be maybe direct with you without having to worry about upsetting you, or maybe saying the wrong thing. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, this is where we see fighting words, competition regarding speech, upsetting one another more easily, acting in defensive ways about what is said. Lack of listening can also show up here, leading to this lack of connection. Now, in a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member supports you intellectually. They speak words of encouragement. They push you towards your goals by communicating clearly and accurately. They also motivate you to succeed when it comes to your education and your studies. They offer you advice and they add this ambitious push of strength. Like the words they say are what inspire you to shift your mindset and get out of a funk. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, said family member just might be pushy and demanding with their words. They might shout. They might shout at you. They might shut down conversations. They might scream, become impatient, make everything a drama, and then their words can be very explosive. You may feel on edge when you're around them. Seeing as this is the house of siblings, this might manifest as sibling rivalry, sibling competition, or rage. I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and if you are, then please be sure to give the video a like and to subscribe for more if you haven't already. And if you would like to learn more about astrology, then you can always pick up a copy of my astrology cheat sheets, which, by the way, there is a new pack. It's a mega pack. It's available. It's all about how to read your transits and returns simply. The links to those cheat sheets and everything is down below. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to someone's Mars falling into your 4th house. So in a relationship dynamic here, your romantic partner or spouse could very well support you emotionally. They encourage you during times when you're feeling down, or they inspire you to move forward during times of emotional distress. They bring a ton of passion and energy to your emotional world. And they might also be turned on by your sensitivity, by how you support and nurture. You might even strive as a couple to build a home together, to have a family, to push forward with your family goals. At the same time, they tend to push your buttons and test your patience. They might do things or move in ways that trigger you, maybe reminding you of certain family members from the past or situations from the past. It could be a case of them, quite literally reminding you of a parent. And in your home life, we see how things are passionate and very active, very busy. There's plenty to do. They bring that to your home life. Naturally, yes, this does depend on the sign and the other planets involved, but we do see here possible feelings of restlessness within the home. And like I'm trying to get at, there's a lot to be done. And to be fair, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, addressing anger issues and fights is very likely, very probable. They might react strongly to things or become easily angered by how you deal with things emotionally and or within the home. Family dramas and arguments are probable, which you can naturally address constructively, but just be cautious of the arguments not outweighing peace and harmony. Now, in a friendship, Mars here suggests that your friends can feel like family. They move like family, they react passionately about things like family, or they show the same kind of impatience as family. They could very well remind you of certain family members, specifically angry family members, or, really ambitious family members, independent ones, or it could be a case of them supporting your family goals. They encourage you like a family member. It's this type of thing. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, again, we see these angry outbursts. Feelings of restlessness also, perhaps attacks, violence possibly, being yelled at, or feeling like you need to protect your independence. They just might behave in very impulsive ways, overlooking how their actions impact you and possibly your own family members. Now, in a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member instills independence in you. They want you to take the lead, to direct your life, to support your life, and to stand up for yourself. They toughen you up, get you moving independently, and they push you to go after your goals. You might view this family member as a warrior as a brave fighter, as someone who doesn't give up easily. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, said family member may lack the emotional awareness or capacity to support you. They are so hell-bent on pushing you to do something that they overlook nurture and care. They lack the sensitivity to sit with your feelings and your emotions. Or they showcase big waves of emotional distress and they are highly impatient with you. They are easily angered. Moving on to someone's Mars falling in your 5th house. So in a relationship setting, your romantic partner or spouse brings a whole lot of activity and fun into your love life. They might be quite romantic or they welcome playful activities. Perhaps they are upfront about dates you go on, places you visit, and experiences to really have as a couple. They actively seek enjoyment and entertainment with you, adding plenty of creative inspiration. We also see plenty of sexual activity here, given how the 5th house is the house of sexual expression. Naturally, this does depend on the sign and the other planets involved, but there just might be this fiery and passionate chemistry between you both. They might also seek to have children with you, which could be a goal you share together. Still, what we see here is a raw and physical attraction, a passionate romance, vibrancy, and plenty of enthusiasm, joyful moments, laughter, and dynamic creative projects. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, this is where we see more arguments and conflict than fun, actually. More arguments than fun times. Let me put it that way. Angry outbursts over spending time together or about children and how you raise them. Yeah, we want to be mindful about that. We see ego clashes and bruises, perhaps too much risk taking too, which can disrupt the relationship, leading to insecurity, drama, and defensiveness. Plus, if there is too much focus on sex over genuine connection and intimacy, we see more issues here. Now, in a friendship, Mars here suggests that your friends seek to do enjoyable activities with you. They bring joy and fun and play into your life. Of course, how these things are performed does depend on the sign and planets, but there is a lot of enthusiasm and plenty of entertainment, a high energy friendship, a friendship that brings plenty of creative ideas, going places together, spending your time off together. They might push you to go after your creative goals, or they inspire you to be creative. And hey, they could be a very active figure in your life if you do have children, right? Very active with your children, maybe very childlike by nature as well. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, we see themes of competition and conflict, how they might be overly pushy and demanding, perhaps impatient. Maybe they try to outdo you or they turn everything into a competition. Then as for a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member encourages you to go after your creative goals, or they want you to win. They challenge you to be independent even within your romantic relationships. They teach you about standing up for yourself in relationships, how to stand on your own 2 feet if you have to. They might attend your games, your competitions, your sporting events, maybe get you into sporting events. They could attend the shows that you're a part of. They celebrate your wins, your performance. They teach you how to be brave and courageous about your creativity. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, said family member might be overly pushy, demanding, short with you, impatient, unaccepting of certain romantic partners, angered by your performance and your creativity, or by the ways in which you have fun and enjoy yourself. Yeah, they can become angered by how you express yourself. All right, moving on to someone's Mars falling in your 6th house. So to look at this through a relationship lens, your romantic partner or spouse might bring a level of productivity and efficiency into your everyday life. They motivate you to get on with daily tasks and responsibilities, or they inspire you to go after your fitness goals or to take care of your physical body and your health overall. They might act as a source of energy and drive. Naturally, yes, this does depend on the sign and the other planets involved, but we see how they might play a significant role in your daily lifestyle. They might also offer you practical advice, hands-on support, or it's that you show the same, or you share the same work ethic. Maybe even they teach you a thing or two about work ethic. You focus on the everyday achievements and duties. They bring this drive and this motivation to things that need to be resolved, that need to be fixed. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, well, this is where we see how disagreements and conflicts can happen over things that need to be done, especially if things are not done correctly. And also arguments over who does what. You might fight over chores and tasks and how they are divided and completed. Or you might be competitive over who does what too. Even in a work setting, by the way, quickly, we see competitiveness. But on a positive note, a work relationship can manifest as a professional relationship that is motivating and driven, encouraging with a focus on achievement. Still, in a romantic relationship or marriage, we see stress levels rising and the health issues that can come with that. On the other hand, we also see your ability to work through things and to take constructive action. We see the supportive goal setting as a team rather than focusing on all the negatives and being overly critical. Now, in a friendship, Mars here suggests that your friends bring drive and motivation to your health and your well-being. Perhaps they offer you some practical tips, or they physically show up for you. They offer to clean your car, bring you dinner, do your laundry if you're going through a hard time. They basically show up when it matters or when it comes to the mundane stuff, the everyday. Yeah, I guess you could say when it really matters. They fully get behind what you do at work, perhaps even inspiring you to go after new job-related goals. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, it is likely that arguments can arise over timings, scheduling, not showing up on time, anger over daily tasks, which can lead to resentment. It might also feel like they're trying to compete with you about organization and productivity, perhaps over perfectionism. Though in a family dynamic, Mars here suggests that said family member motivates you to look after your health and to go after your work goals. They encourage you to clean, to take care of your hygiene, to be orderly, and they are also helpful, okay? They help you out. They're active with their assistance and their helpfulness. Maybe they actively help you fix and repair things around the house, or they inspire you to make small improvements and adjustments to your everyday life so that things are easier. However, if Mars is in a disharmonious condition, said family member, well, they might be overly pushy and demanding, as if you have this figure consistently, constantly stressing you out about things that need to be done. You do not have a minute to yourself. Arguments then can happen as you feel judged. You feel like you must defend yourself, which only leads to more conflict. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes today's video all about Mars through the houses in Synastry, looking at houses 1 through 6. If you enjoyed learning about Mars through the houses in Synastry today, the full 12 house video is available exclusively for our channel members below. So you will gain access to all member-only videos over there by joining the Cosmic Warriors Club. To join, just click the join button below. Though, in the meantime, I do hope that this video has been helpful and you've been able to learn about the first 6 houses here in Synastry when looking to Mars. I want to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching and for subscribing. And if you haven't already, of course, do make sure to give the video a like and to subscribe for more if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more, everybody, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.